And hello, Sanctuary family. Thank you for joining me today. Got some great stuff coming up, and I am live today from the storehouse at Sanctuary. This is where a lot of exciting things happen. This is where we distribute food every single day to not just people on the streets and people that are being trafficked, but or have been trafficked, rescued from the trafficking. But it's also where we do Sanctuary. You know, we do that once a month. The next one's coming up the first Saturday and Sunday of October. And if you need a road trip, come on down. The Sanctuary Worship team will be here and a whole lot of people, and we have a great time. There it is right there on your screen, October 7th and 8th. Pastor Bob and the Sanctuary Worship team. And for more information, Jim Liberty has the scoop. You can see his email, jimliberty@gmail.com. Just write to him. He'll give you the address. He'll give you all the particulars that you need. Saturday and Sunday, Saturday afternoon, and again Sunday morning. Well, I'm glad you're here today. And if you're just joining me, sign in. Let me know where you're from. And I have an important question to ask today as well. Are you a coffee drinker? And if you are, do you drink your coffee black? Do you drink it with cream? Do you drink it with sugar? How do you drink your coffee? Good morning, David from Virginia. Great to have you here today. Thanks, David. And good friends in Virginia. I appreciate you being here. Joe here in Texas. Are you a coffee drinker? Black, cream, sugar, what do you like? Jonathan Skaggs is here. Good morning to you. So, folks, I'm excited to have a great time with you today. We have Matt coming up at the half hour, and we're going to be talking about the writer's strike in Hollywood. Matt is an actor there and how that's affecting him and all of his friends that are in the movies and commercials and all that stuff and interesting stuff. And we're going to talk, there he is, and we're going to talk a little bit about, well, motorcycles and possibly something coming up that's pretty exciting. So Matt will join us at the half hour, and we'll be excited to have him here. So here's our good friend, Davey. Good morning. How have you been? I've been good. So let me just tell you that our next coffee blend, fall blend, which will come out later this week, it's called Where Have You Been? That's pretty exciting. And I'll tell you more about that here first. You know, when we do this, there's all the secret, all the stuff that's going on. So you heard it first right here. So sign in, folks. Let me know where you're from and how do you like your coffee. I'm drinking a little bit of Headbangers Brew this morning. Do the brew. And I'm drinking a little bit of Joe Mama. Yeah, that's a 5-pound bag. We sell these too. And it's Joe Mama, the 5-pound. It's my favorite one. And that's awesome. John, I just missed what you had on the screen there. If you wouldn't mind putting it up again. There's Headbangers Brew. And folks, we'll talk a little more about that as we go today. But this is used to help to fund the ministries here at Sanctuary, our outreach ministry to the homeless, to the disenfranchised, to people that have been trafficked, all of that. Steve, good morning to you. First time watching live. Well, welcome. Greetings from deep in the woods of West Bama, Alabama. Good to see you, Steve. Thank you. And Brian, our good friend, is here this morning. God bless you, Brian. Good to see you. So, folks, sign in. Let me know. Are you a coffee drinker? Do you like it black, cream, sugar? Love to know that. RJ Poole is here. Greetings from Seattle. So we've heard from a few in the United States. Some of our international friends will be joining us, I'm sure. And AB says, no, I'm not a coffee drinker. And a lot of people aren't, and I wasn't for most of my life. And then I started to drink it and started getting used to it, and yeah, we know where it went from there. Amber, good morning to you. She says, depends on the coffee. Most of the time I use organic cream that has some kind of flavor, usually vanilla, hazelnut. There you go. And I use sometimes a little bit of heavy cream in mine, just a tad, but really doesn't need it. It's good by itself. Ellen, good morning to you from Antonio, Texas. Remember the Alamo, defenders of the wall. Yes. Big job, huh? I know. Yikes. We won't go there, but we could. Steve says, coffee is my religion. I think that means you like it just a little bit, Steve. That's awesome. Folks, thank you for joining me today. And again, if you're just joining us, sign in from wherever you're at, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're joining, and we'll see it on the screen. Amber says, oh, cool. The Wi-Fi in your room there is glitching. Picture is not fluid, but right now the sound is better. Yeah, we have a Wi-Fi problem here, and I'm really sorry for that. But it's just the way it is, and thank goodness we have enough to get out there today. But yeah, it's definitely a problem. I'm sorry about that, Amber, and we hope that it works out. Michael says, dark black from Beaumont, California. There you go. And I agree. And we have our dark blend, by the way, and it's called Intense. Is it called Intense? No, it's called Hardcore. Hardcore is our dark blend. And then we have a little lighter blend. It's called Melodic. But yeah, I hear you. Hear it. Morning from South Dakota. One of my favorite places. Love South Dakota. A whole lot of my relatives are from South Dakota. Pretty much everyone on my mom's side of the family. I've spent a lot of time there. And it's awesome. It's awesome. Great place. So folks, sign in. Again, let me know where you're from. Let me know how you like your coffee. Black with cream, sugar? It's an important question for a Wednesday morning. At least morning here in Nashville. Some of you in Australia, for instance, are listening tonight. Some of you that are next day are, way behind us all over the world. So, folks, sign in. Let me know where you're from. So, I thought we could take do you ever have a sneeze coming on? That's what it is. It's there's something in the air this morning. I noticed when I got up this morning. It's a little bit, having some allergies today. So that ain't good. Yes. So if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them also. We have a little bit of time to chat before we bring Matt with us today. Matt Waters, good morning James, from Tennessee, and from our neck of the woods. Neighbor. Amber says, okay, yes, hope so too. I enjoy your talks. I act also, and I'm looking forward to hearing your conversation. That's awesome. And I think we might have a few actors out there, and so many people are being affected by this writers and actors strike. It's a big deal if you're earning your living that way, as many people are. We don't hear a lot about it, but it's definitely going on, and it's really displaced and put a lot of people in a critical place. So we'll have a good time talking about that. Sean is here from San Diego. He said, I like my Headbangers brew with a little sweet cream. There you go. How sweet it is. Exactly. Glad you're drinking Headbangers brew, Sean. That's awesome. I love this stuff. I usually sneak, this is a guilty confession, But there's so many places around that have horrible coffee, and they're some of the biggest coffee places in the world, chains or whatever, and their coffee's horrible. And so I usually order 1 cup with cream so I can tolerate it. And then I always take in my own coffee, and then I kind of under the table pour it. I know. Well, folks, if you're just joining me, sign in, let me know who you are, where you're from, and what you'd like to chat about for a few minutes. Once again, at the half hour, we have Matt coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about the writers-actors strike and how that's affecting people. And once again, I am here in the storehouse, and a whole lot of things happen here too. And yeah, you know, AB, I forgot about Twitch. Yes, we're on Twitch as well. So I'm glad you're joining us there. And we have 2 viewers on Twitch. I don't think we really advertise it very much, but we need to. So if you're a Twitch watcher, yeah, switch to Twitch. There you go. So I'm busy working these days on my new book that I'm trying to get finished by the end of the year. And it's this one. You can see it here. You can see the poster right over here too. Teach Me, Eat, Pray, a book about the church and what does the Bible say the church should be. How do you establish church, and you know, what does church look like? So I'm having a good time writing the book. This has been kind of a cool labor of love for me, which has been awesome. So it's still a little warm here in Tennessee. Some of you are cooling off a bit, and I'm ready for the summer to be over. It's a little too hot. Diego is here. Good morning from Buenos Aires. Love coffee, black with cream, cappuccino. There you go. Here in Buenos Aires, it's a sort of a traditional breakfast. I have coffee with milk, not cream, and 3 croissants. That does sound good. Diego's a friend of the ministry. So glad you're here with us. And I bet it's a little warm there too in Buenos Aires. So summer is my least favorite time of the year. My least favorite time. So yeah, I don't do well with the heat, and we have a lot of humidity here. The other 3 seasons I really love. So I'm excited for fall to hit. Excited for a new coffee. Em says I'm out of the coffee club's break. Tea for me. You know, that's where a lot of you are at, and a lot of people enjoy tea a little more than coffee. We carried a tea for a while, and we actually discontinued it just because nobody bought it. So I guess we don't necessarily have a tea crowd here. It is what it is. But we do pretty well with coffee. So that part is good. The October event should be beautiful. You know, and we've been trying to do everything inside because it's too hot outside. And inside here, this is a pretty big building. You can't see it all, but we have a lot of air conditioning, and it's, you know, the right temperature inside. But we're looking forward to setting up all the picnic tables outside and doing in and outside. This time using our barbecue trailer and doing a big barbecue outside, and we're going to have a good time. It'll be a great time. So if you're ready for a road trip, please do that. Austin says leaves are falling here, thankfully. Now we await the first frost. I agree. Austin, a good friend of the ministry. And Austin, will you be here in October? I would imagine so. Would love to see you here. AB, by the way, today it's the 4th anniversary of War of Ages. 2 more days for their new album, Dominion, to arrive. Also, Wedding Party's new album, Way Versus Good. You know, there's some really significant albums coming out. I'm so happy to see that, and we need to, Awesome. And we'll have more and more people from different bands on the show here with me. And yeah, so good stuff. Good stuff. So maybe I can help make a spiced tea that would rock. You know, we could think about that, but I think we're a little gun shy, to be honest. And the old company that we used to work with doesn't, the new one doesn't have tea. So we'll have to see what that means. So yeah, we're gearing up for our October event, and it should be awesome. Looking forward to spending time together, and a whole lot of people here, from a lot of people you'd recognize, and just our sanctuary family. Good to get together and to spend time together. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, AB is everywhere. That's true. He's at all the shows. It's always good to see him around. He gets around. Yes, he does. That's true. Good morning, Gerald, from the Philippines. Some great folks from the Philippines. What a beautiful place. And appreciate you joining us today, Gerald. If you're just joining us, sign in and let us know where you're from. Let us know how you like your coffee. Black, green, with sugar. Inquiring minds want to know. So let us know that if you would. All right. There's a cool logo, John. Thank you. John is our producer, John Cassandra. We really appreciate him and all the work that he does with us. He not only produces the show, but he does all the artwork and all of it too. He's very good at it. And between John and Hayden, we're looking pretty good these days. So, by the way, Hayden, who does a lot of the artwork, and who is the creator of the Crimson Six. Some of you got the first book, the graphic novel. The second one is getting finished right now. So before too long, it'll be out. We'll, of course, have Hayden on the show, and we'll announce it, and we'll talk about it. And that would be great. Amber says, I would love to come in October. We'll be coming through later in the month. Who do I contact now about that, since Lebo is doing other things? Well, you just let us know. So Lebo got married, which we're very excited for, and we've gone through the financial crunch like most ministries have, and so we weren't able to keep him on and everything that he was doing. He and his wife actually have a nonprofit, and so he's still feeding the homeless. He's doing that on his own. We're supplying the food, and we're still working with him. We love him to death. Nobody is better than working at the homeless ministry than Lebo is. So he's still around, and we still love him to death. And it's just a matter of coordinating everything. Raven is here. Hello from Australia. You know, we have such good friends in Australia. Would love to get back there one day. And love the folks there. Let me know where you're from. Let me know how you like your coffee. Good morning from Holland, Michigan. We have some good friends in Holland also. And we just did a praise and worship weekend there. Just, 2 weeks ago, I guess. I spoke at it via and great worship team playing, and great idea. So, G would love to see you. Well, I love the West Coast. I know. And I'd love to see you here in Middle Tennessee. There you go. You never know what will happen. When I do get this book selling, tour, and I'll be traveling, so it'll be which is and we bet. I'm really sorry that. And yeah, we're going to reboot. So I'm making a reboot.
Hey guys, John Cassandra here, taking a little break. Pastor Bob's rebooting his phone. Want to apologize for the Wi-Fi. As he mentioned, his Wi-Fi signal is not exactly the most solid with him moving and the facilities and everything. He's been trying to find out some different places to be able to reposition, but we should have him back shortly. Again, reminder, make sure you check out our website, sanctuaryinternational.com. You can find out all the necessary information you need to about the ministries of Sanctuary. A great line of podcasts that are there. So make sure that if you subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those you can find through the website. And again, appreciate you guys being patient. Want to make sure that we're staying interacting and engaging with you guys. Again, Matthew Matray coming up here at the half hour. He's going to be talking about the Actors Guild strike that's happening, talking about a little bit about his background and some of the high spots that he's experienced with acting, and also, talking about, again, what's been happening with the strike. And Matthew's a part of the Sanctuary family, and I'm sure he'll be talking a little bit about that. I think we got Pastor Bob back online, so we're going to go ahead and pull Pastor Bob back in.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you for filling in. For some reason,
my pleasure.
My internet switched from the right feed to one that wasn't as strong, so we should be strong now.
You look beautiful now, Pastor Bob.
Awesome. Thank you, dude. So we have Andy from Germany. Love our German friends, and I've spent some great time there with you folks in Germany. Really excited for that. We're thinking about an event in Europe right now that I will attend. So let's see what happens. We'll see what we can pull off. Amber says, yes, agree. We'll send you email. Yes, that would be great. And Jonathan, blessed morning from Texas. Cheers. Cheers. Absolutely. Well, folks, I'm so glad you've joined us today. And we have a special guest coming up. Continue to let us know where you're from. And I want you to listen and be part of the conversation. If you have questions or comments, just list them below here, and we'll look and see what people are asking. And so a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back with Match coming up on Pastor Bob Live. And whoa, we're back. We're back with a special guest. So, Matt, how many times do people call you special?
You
It could
know,
mean
I
a
think
lot
you've
of
been calling
things.
me. Indeed. I think you've been
Yes.
calling me special since I was 17.
It could be. So, Matt, we have a lot of history. We're going to get to that. And let me just introduce you to Matt, if you don't know him. He is an actor by trade right now. And we want to talk a little bit about the strike, Matt, and how that's affecting
Hmm.
you and what's going on with all that. We got a few other little surprises that we'll throw in today and chat about. And, folks, if you have some questions that you'd like to ask, Matt or me or about the industry or whatever, um, we don't mind talking. And one of the things that Matt and I have in common is that we can both talk a lot. Hmm.
It's true. It's very true. So I hope everyone's getting comfortable because this is going to be a talk.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Well, Matt, let's begin and talk about our history. I love that
Okay.
part. Um, you were 17, I think.
17.
You hitchhiked from Alaska to California to my house. Talk about that.
Boom. Yeah, and I crash landed in your back room, right? Your back office, the garage, but it was kind
Hmm.
of like renovated. And I had no idea what I was in for. All I knew is that California Metal had come out, and you and I got a chance to talk at length on the phone using the 800 number, which was
Yes,
a counseling number at the time.
right.
And gosh, we really hit it off. We had a lot of similar visions and thoughts for what should be happening and being involved in the Christian entertainment and just the entertainment for me to be in the entertainment business all around, because I had theater and acting and commercials in my belt at the time, and it was really exciting. But I crushed my saxophone accidentally before I came down. So I've never been able to play with the Sanctuary Worship team, and I haven't played since. Since the move, all I could come down with was a backpack. I literally came down with 2 bags of
Yes.
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that were in 2 bags of bread tied to the side of and some cans of soup and some other things in the back of my backpack. And I started another life at Sanctuary, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it was definitely a well, an act of faith for you because here you
Absolutely.
were, you weren't even finished with high school yet. You went to high
Mm-mm.
school there locally, and all of a sudden we had Matt with us, and we were excited to have you there, and we weren't quite sure what was going on, but we just knew we liked you, and we wanted to keep you, and we have all these years. And Matt, how many years ago was that?
That was 88. So it's been a minute.
Wow,
I think I
it's
came
been a
down in
minute.
June of 88, something like that, according to Brian
35,
Kemper.
35 years ago. Yeah.
Woo wee! A
So
lot
that
of
means
water
you're
under that bridge.
you're a little older than 17 now then.
Shh, don't tell anyone. Us Hollywood types, we're always playing younger roles. Don't help anyone
Absolutely.
figure out my real age.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Matt, you got involved right away with a lot of the bands. You started working with Deliverance, if I remember, and you started roading with them and helping with them and doing some of their stuff. And not just that,
Yeah,
but
actually,
when you're at Sanctuary, you kind of work with everybody. Yeah,
doing the concert hotline for 4 years. And,
yeah.
when you talk about Deliverance, for those that are watching, Michael, I see you on there. I see you in the comments. Here's a little factoid that Jimmy only tells a handful of people. When their music style changed, he kind of branched out of the hardcore speed metal thrash scene. And he actually asked me because as I was touring with them, I would fill in on some of the harder songs. And he actually asked me to be their singer. Can you believe
Whoa.
it?
How
Could
about
you
that?
imagine what would have happened if that would have happened?
Oh my goodness. I can't even think about it.
Boom.
That
But
blows
I
my
love them,
mind.
and I would love to record with them in the future.
Yeah. Well,
I
dude,
have some
and
great, hilarious behind the scenes recordings in the studio where I really had to go to the bathroom and they locked me out and they're like yelling at me to go outside in the weeds. And like the engineer like recorded it all and gave me a copy. Anyway,
yikes. Wow.
that's how it was
Well,
as the roadie.
yeah. And not just Deliverance, but you worked with, when you're in Sanctuary, you kind of work with all the bands, and there were a lot of them. And
Yeah.
so you were very much involved right off the bat.
Hmm.
In later years, you've kind of zeroed in on, especially on Christafari, and
Oh, yes.
a lot of people don't know that Christafari kind of came out of Sanctuary.
Hmm.
Mark Moore, the singer of the band, is actually a Sanctuary
Oh,
pastor.
there he
There he
is.
is,
I
right
love
there.
that guy. He's one of the only, other than you, he's one of the few people in this planet that actually puts up with me.
He's
So
awesome.
I,
Mark is awesome. And
yeah,
and
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 he's been
there
real
you
nice
are.
to
If we
me.
could look at that picture again, this is from one of the videos that you did. And yeah, so you're playing the elevator guy. And what is the song called, Matt?
It's called Elevator, and I'm the bellman. And my line in the video is going up or going down. And
Uh,
then there's some other stuff that we added just for the music video, you know.
that's
So there's
awesome.
kind of like a little fun little concept there. It's kind of like
Yes,
Willy Wonka ish vibes, and then it's like a
great video.
metaphor of living life, and
Yes.
yeah. And it's funny that the drummer goes to such lengths in the video. I hope you guys get a chance to watch it and enjoy it.
On YouTube,
Yep,
you can see it. Yeah,
everywhere
yeah,
except TikTok.
everywhere.
TikTok, that darn TikTok took it down.
We don't do TikTok. No, don't do TikTok. So you got involved after a few years with the music industry, or the acting ministry mostly, um,
All of it,
and
yeah.
just all of it, not just ministry, but as an actor. Um,
Hmm.
and if you go to the what's it called, where you list all of the accomplishments of actors and actresses and
Oh,
stuff.
the actors database,
Yes,
IMDb.
yeah, that's right. IMDb. So when you look at the list of things you've been in, it's a long list.
The
Yes, it
thing
is.
is that even though it's long, I wish I could cut it down to like more principal roles, because when I was
Yeah.
first starting out, I didn't know any better, and so I listed some of the background roles when I was featured. And I've been in a lot of music videos, and
Mhm.
that's why it's a lot of Christafari stuff on there. I think there's at least 12 Christafari listings,
Yeah. But you've
and
done a
it's been
few other
fun.
things. So,
Yeah.
Matt, these days, this strike has to be affecting you and the people that you work with. Talk about that a little bit, because I know this is devastating for a lot of families.
Man, okay. Well, first off, I'm going to have a bit of a controversial view in the sense that I did not vote yes for the strike to be when it is. My
Yeah.
preference would have been later in the year, starting in maybe October, November, even late November, December would have been more opportune for all of us, because that's when we all kind of go on vacation. It used to be like a period when they wouldn't film, and
Yes.
it's not really that right now. And so, June and July is usually our bread and butter months, and August is usually like, hey, this is how we're going to start saving for the holidays, and that's not happening. Plus, you know, it's just, uh, it's, so there are things we can do. There's a lot of voiceover we can do. There's commercials we can do. And then Disney, actually, ironically, even though they've been in the headlines, they're actually agreeing to certain aspects of the strike. So we're allowed to work on those productions. But that's three pieces of the puzzle. And the puzzle's like that big, it's like there's so much more out there for work, film, TV, episodics, even webisodes. we can't talk or do anything that's affiliated with SAG if a podcast or a webisode specifically was SAG originally. So that's a huge bummer. And right now, just like with Christian musicians, especially with Christian rockers, for those of you guys that are watching that are thinking, this sounds so exciting, I really want to do this, my first words would be pray about it, and then know your support system. Because right now, I have a very loving wife, and I have a very supportive stepson who's been able to be there while I'm like going crazy, cooped up in the house, kind of,
Yes.
Well, that isn't one of them. So I could talk about this moment here because this photo is so. It obviously shows me preaching, but that was working on the Christafari music video, Outsiders, that I got a chance to co-write and direct and produce and cast, and it was like a sharing of our hearts, of like a reflection metaphor of what it was like to be at Sanctuary in the 80s. And the main character was like somebody who had gone to Sanctuary, and then he was accepted and got to chance to play on stage at Sanctuary. And that guy was Christafari.
Yeah.
And if you watch the video, you can see the parallels of when Mark first played one of his first shows on the stage at church.
That's so awesome.
And that was a great night. Yeah. So in essence, that really cool looking biker preacher, that was you.
Oh, wow. There you go.
But you had longer hair,
Yeah, I did. So
and better looking.
Yeah, well, it's always
I
been
just
a
can't
curse
compare.
for me, Matt. It's always been a curse, to be this good looking. I know. And what are you going to do? So,
maybe we should
those
switch
were
jobs.
Great days, Matt. I think, it's interesting that we used to have bands play all the time at Sanctuary. All the bands played, for special music. I remember one time we had to make a rule when Vengeance played one time that there would be no stage diving from the pulpit. Do you remember that? So
and all my friends picked me up on their shoulders, you remember?
And my own secretary, Tom, was the one that did the first stage diving. I know. So whatever.
Tom.
But Tom, yeah, the first time we had Christafari play, and they were just brand new, just putting the band kind of together. And there were a few Sanctuary people that were in the band, and it was a cool thing. The very first time we had them play, they got a standing ovation at Sanctuary.
It was so wonderful.
A whole room, hundreds of metalheads, and I think it's the first and only time anybody's ever gotten a standing ovation.
Yeah, there. It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
And Brian O'Neill has a question. He says, Sanctuary worship albums, are they still available? And I want to say, yes, they are on Amazon.
Yes. Yes, they are. And we're working on a new one. There's a little bit of information for you. We'll announce more as we go, but this is going to be the best one yet. I'm very excited for it. So, yes, the new Sanctuary number 3 will be coming out. So back to the acting. So give us a few highlights of your career. The roles that you've had that have been significant for you, the things that have furthered your career. Give us just a recap.
I would love to, but under contract, I can only talk about Christafari, the music videos that I've done with them. But I will say one of the worst films that I ever was on, and they lived up to their name. I mean, I can't actually say what their name was, but transitioning from Christafari, this is Christafari's new sticker, and I don't know if you guys can see the sticker, but I mean, there was a movie that came out that I was in. I can't mention the name, but I don't know if any of you guys could guess what it is. But I mean, it's similar to this. I mean, have you seen the sticker?
Yeah, there you go.
That was terrible. People falling over and 109 degrees with double masks on and still, dehydration. And it it was terrible. The movie lived up to its name as far as working on it. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, if I
Yeah.
was talking about any particular SAG movie that I can't talk about.
Mhm.
Anyway, but I did have some. I've had some lovely times with Christofari and shooting some of their music videos. And
Yes.
without mentioning a name, if people find out about it, there was one on Apple TV that I also had a terrific time on, and I was able to go to the last second to last con and sign autographs and stuff, and that was just
Awesome.
just a highlight of my life, you know. And then maybe
Yeah.
in the future, if we get the Crimson Six going, maybe for the animations, as we're trying to do. Do you mind if I take a second to talk about our good
Do
friend
it.
Hayden
Do it.
and the book? So I don't have his comic in front of me, or maybe I do actually, but we worked together with a handful of musicians, now musicians, as a matter of fact, to create an animated version of the comic books of his trade paperback comics, and they're really lengthy for those of you guys who want to read them. They're great. It's got great stories. The artwork is amazing, and again, I just can't say. I mean, Hayden has done an amazing job on
Yes.
all of the sanctuary artwork. I mean, look what he's done for
Amazing.
this little thing that we'll talk
Yes.
about in a second. And
Yes.
you know, if you guys get a chance to check out this comic book, we created a spec version of it, and sadly the investors didn't want to pick it up because of COVID. But we had Michael Sweet from Striper doing a voice in it. We've got Jason from Death Campaign and Training for Utopia doing voices in it. We have some other actors that were in the DC universe. A guy that played Deathstroke, playing a voice in it, and then I've done several voices in it. And hopefully, it'll just come together. And who knows what's going to happen? And so that'll
Yeah,
be
I
a
would
great
love to see
accent.
that. I would
Yeah,
love to see that happen. That would
it
be
was so much
awesome.
fun, and I'm hoping that we can. Oh, and I have to remember that the band Eternal Covenant actually wrote a song as the main character in the Crimson
Wow.
Six, and it's like this just shredding metalcore, hardcore song, and it's just incredible.
Awesome.
And I just
Awesome.
we have a music video for it that we never released, but we probably should do that. And if you guys
Well,
haven't had
I
a chance,
think,
pick
yeah.
this up.
And especially when the new book comes out very soon, it'll be great. So the Crimson Six, you know, when Hayden and I first started talking about it, my suggestion was that he take, there we go, right there, that we take six different kinds of metalheads and make each
Mm-hmm.
one of them a character, from
Mm-hmm.
melodic to hardcore to whatever. But each metalhead represents a different style of heavy metal music, and
Right.
so the Crimson Six was written with that in mind. And Hayden, I'm his biggest fan, dude. He's awesome. He does such a good job. I can't even tell you how proud I am of him. And yeah, like I said a little while ago, the new book will be coming out before too long. But we are, you know, he does all of our stuff. You know, he's designed the new book cover. He's done all of the artwork for Headbangers Brew, and you know, pretty much everything we have. So yeah, he's been an awesome guy. Our Hayden is an awesome guy. Yes. Well, Matt, I want to get to
So, oh,
another subject here,
yeah,
and
I was just
you
going to
know,
ask.
we we want to get involved in a lot of different areas, and can I just say that this has been a really tough time the last couple of years, and so many things that we have wanted to do, we've had to put on hold. Coming
Mm-hmm.
out of COVID was really hard for us,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and 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 mostly because there were so many more people on the streets that we just felt like all of our energy was going on the streets and helping people there, and everybody was just waking up again, and so things were changing so
Mm.
much, and the finances dropped out, and they still haven't
Mm-hmm.
picked up too well. We're still, you know, kind of hurting. Buy coffee. Buy coffee. But anyway, so
Let me tell you, all
one of
my
the
family
visions.
buys the coffee, by the way. They love it.
All right. Well, that's cool.
We always have
Awesome.
it.
Good. So in the middle of all that, we had a great opportunity, and I think it's a great one to be involved with the motorcycle ministry, and
Right.
especially at Sturgis. And can I tell you that that's always been on my heart? Um,
Mm.
some of you know that my cousin, Sonny Barker, who was the president of Hell's Angels, probably the most um, the most famous biker, I would say, probably, with few exceptions. When they did Easy Rider, they patterned that after him, and
Hmm.
some of the different roles that have been done since then were kind of he helped with kind of putting some things together, and
Yeah, and he
he's
helped
been
me. Like over the years, I did the what they were called the motorcycle games at the different events for the red and whites,
mm,
and he gave me some of my first pins. Like randomly, I was slaving away at my stall because we had like this game stall, and he
yeah.
was like, "Bro, you've earned this," and he was really cool, man. That's all I gotta say.
Well,
I think
that's
he might have
awesome.
bought me a cold one too.
Yeah, probably.
Hi,
Well,
Sherry.
he died a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
His sister I'm still in contact with, and she's still living. But so Sturgis is the biggest motorcycle rally in the United States, and probably in the world, I would imagine.
It
But
is.
I've always felt like it would be great to be there, and was
Mm-hmm.
invited there to be a chaplain, and never did. But Matt, you and I started talking about the opportunity to get involved in
Mm-hmm.
biker ministry. Now,
Right.
I am not a biker. Um, I look like one, but there you go. But talk about the sanctuary riders for a minute.
Well, I can tell you that we are spitballing some ideas to create an affiliation to accent a lot of the ministries that are already going on for outreach. And I
Yes,
also know that in our particular demographic, so to speak, of us being, maybe middle aged metalheads, I know, speak for myself, right? Because AVJ already got my age in the comments. But there are a
yeah,
lot of metalheads that ride like myself, and I've always tried to connect with them in one way or another. And I think that Sanctuary Riders is a good stepping off point, because I think that there's a lot of us that are already in the social networking,
yes,
that travel to the different concerts, that do the different rallies, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to all get together and then have our own sanctuary services and provide services for these rallies.
absolutely. And so, in the meantime, and we've been trying to do this every year, and every year it doesn't work. And I would love to see it happen. There's just so many things going on right now, and our
Hmm.
finances again have been very limited. But I'm surprised at how many bands want to be part of it.
It's true. Look at all these bands that have already told us that they want to play. Who do we got? We got. Oh, thank you, John. We've got Disciple in the midst. They're like a punk rock band from Southern California. Human
Yeah,
Code, George Ochoa, Mike Lee, all these hard hitting guys from
yeah,
the recent past. Review Worldview is another version of them that sounds like Queensryche. And of course, we all know who Deliverance is. And Grave Robber, those guys are amazing. I love Sean to death. I
yes,
love the whole band. They're all just really great. And
yes,
I can go on record to say that we've talked to Demon Hunter too. So my hopes and desires is to have Demon Hunter headline, and then have all these other bands. One of the logos that you can't see in there on the one that he's got is Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh. But they have since broken up. But I'm sure Magdalene would
yes,
play because she's just part of the Sanctuary family.
yes, absolutely. And also, don't forget A Hill to Die Upon. also.
Dude, how could I? Did you see their promo yesterday? Oh my gosh, those guys are just
They're
sincere
awesome.
beast mode. Beast
They're
mode.
awesome. And the singer, I did his wedding, and his wife is from our staff in Denmark, actually.
That's
And
right.
so they're a sanctuary family, and we're excited for them to be part of it.
Now,
So
now,
AB
let's.
says, I thank God for metal music. It connects every generation. We're metal, we are family. Isn't that the truth? It is family, and we're extending the family a little bit, Matt, when we talk about the sanctuary writers. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there are two things that we've kind of gone after in the last few years. Well, we plan to go after. The number one has been the comic book crowd, because a whole lot of metal people are into comic books, and so the graphic novel with Crimson Six has been,
I mean,
awesome, a game changer. Yes,
look at
yes,
this. I mean, what's funny is this is a secular comic book. It's called High Desert, but it
yeah.
actually features a vengeance show that I was at when I was in high school, and like this
Wow.
was his first, yeah, and Head Noise played with them, and so I'm actually two characters in this series, and it's funny because I was actually there as a high schooler, and now I'm a character in his comic book for this title, and
Well, that's
I
awesome.
mean that's punk rock, but you got like, bands like Beartooth who have graphic novels out, and you
Yeah.
have Demon Hunter. I mean, I have a stack of other comics over here that I just randomly have I wasn't prepared to bring out, but it's a thing. I think it's kind of like part of the scene.
Yes, absolutely. And we're excited for book number two to come out. So the graphic novels was the first one, and the second one is the motorcycles. And there are a whole lot of, I mean, heavy metal is the music
Mm-hmm.
of the motorcycle community, hard rock and heavy
Mm-hmm.
metal.
Right.
And I'm very excited for the opportunity, hopefully soon, that we can go to Sturgis and have a presence there, and see what God might have for us there. And Matt,
And then
you've kind of laid the groundwork a little bit with some of the ministries that are there to maybe give us a leg up in our
yeah,
presence there.
and then
Hmm.
before we change the subject, and I know I don't know how much time we have together, but one of the things that I want to emphasize to anyone watching this now is that we talk about exciting things like these bands playing at Sturgis or these different rallies and how much
Yes,
fun that could be because it's entertaining.
yes,
But at Sturgis, it's a different animal. I
yes,
think that if people go, then they have to realize that they're there because it's family time, right? Like you and I discussed, because there's going to be some hardships. We're going to be camping out. We're going to be camping out in the heat. It'll be like Cornerstone, except for it'll be drier. There might be rain. There might be fires. It's kind of a trial. Not to mention, we want to be available to people that are wrestling with maybe drug use, sobriety, and there are groups that we will partner with that are there to prevent trafficking because there's sections of Sturgis that are actually closed off to the public, and law enforcement only goes to the very edge of it during the period of the rally. So there's a lot of things that go on there, and I think it's a physical, tangible representation of spiritual warfare. And I think
yeah,
that some of the girls that are trafficked there, that are kept under sedation with narcotics, need to be rescued from that lifestyle. And
yes,
then all they can do is they can only send the signals. I don't know if you know or not, but if somebody takes a girl by her shoulder
yes,
and she turns
right,
around and she puts her hand, that's a signal to save me. And so
yes,
there's going to be things that we're going to have to do, and there's going to be real protection for some of these people who want to sober up too. And I think that there's been some mistakes that people have made while they've gone to Sturgis, and we need to be that hand of grace and that hand up because they're literally passed out in the gutters. And that's
yes,
I think if people are interested in sanctuary riders and being a part, maybe they could be a supporter, maybe they could be a sponsor for the metal missionaries if they're not going to be writers,
yes,
because there's a lot of work to be done.
There is. And Matt, we'll chat more about it as we get further along with it. But I am very excited for the possibilities, and let's see what happens. This will be great. Well, folks, we've been talking with Match. We've been talking about the writer's strike, which you can't talk about very much, but it's really affected you. You've had a little bit of time off, whether you wanted to or not.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be here for our next barbecue. You're coming
In
for the
October.
weekend.
I'm really looking forward to it. So you
Yes.
guys come out and say hi. Who knows?
Come
I
and
might
say hi to
even be
Match.
forced into doing some tattoos and piercings while I'm there. I don't know.
There we go. There's the event right there. October 7th and 8th. And the Sanctuary Worship Team, Jim Liberty and Glenn Mancaruso and the whole Sanctuary Worship Team, Georgia
We
Cho,
love those
everybody
guys.
that's on it. We have all those folks. And plus, there's a lot of bands here. There's a lot of metalheads here, and it's a great time together. Well, folks, I appreciate you joining us today. This has been a great time together. Thank you to Match for joining us as well. And we'll have him back again. We'll keep you up to date on all the things that are going on, all the exciting things that are going on. And don't forget, if you haven't tried Headbangers Brew, what are you waiting for? So grab some Headbangers Brew. You'll see the commercial as we go out today, and follow the promptings there, and you can get you some great stuff. Well, we'll join you again next Wednesday with special guests, with a great time together. I'm going to be having a guest host from now on, different people each week, plus our guests, and all of that is coming up starting next Wednesday. So join me live, and folks, thank you. God bless you. Don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.